I'm going to talk about LibGuides. You may not be familiar with LibGuides. LibGuides are a product that primarily academic libraries use for librarians to put together information about specific topics. This is a LibGuide that a librarian at Cornell put together about news and current events. And there's information about, let's see, there's a guide for historical news, guide to news research, and then say American historical newspapers online. There's information about African American historical newspapers online, Latin American newspapers, all kinds of different things. And they list a bunch of the resources that we have access to or that are available for free. Similarly, that reminds me, I did want to highlight the list of digitized newspapers that's available at Wikipedia. This is on the handout that we will share after the session as well. But this has got a list of newspaper archives around the world, and it is broken down by state when you get in here under the United States. You can find all kinds of great resources in there. So just another thing that I really wanted to mention. Now, if I go back to, I have way too many tabs open now, but these LibGuides are fantastic resources if you want to learn about some specific area, maybe a state that you're not familiar with. So you go to UT Knoxville research guides and find a guide to Tennessee and regional history. This is a way that you would find some of those resources that I mentioned before, that, you find that there's, Fairburns merchant sale and things like that that are of particular use. So any academic library, practically every academic library, is going to have some sets of LibGuides, and you might find some that are better than others, some that are less good, but particularly the big universities, they've got lots of really useful information. If you want to find information about the Spanish flu, this could be a great place to go. This highlights what they have in their special collections. And so for, maritime history, I'm going to highlight the Maritime Studies LibGuide at East Carolina University. There are only two master's programs in maritime history in the United States. East Carolina is one of them. That's the one where I went. Go Pirates. The other is Texas A&M University. Neither of them are right on the coast, which is kind of interesting. But then again, we do have to remember that maritime history is not just about saltwater. Of course, we've got our inland seas, and we've got all of the incredible rivers across the country and around the world. So maritime history is much broader than those areas. So I mentioned a little bit about LibGuides, and I know I'm going fast, but I want to explain one more thing. And this, to me, is a super exciting resource. I think that this, unless you've heard me speak, 100% of you are going to learn something new here, or unless you are an academic librarian, there I think I might still surprise you. We have this product. So just to go back just a little bit, we have all these databases that we subscribe to in academic libraries, and in this, you'll also find this in very large public libraries as well. And of course, Google is great because Google's super easy to search, and you can just get all these results back really quickly and really easily. But Google does not search any of these databases where the content is behind a paywall. And libraries spend millions of dollars a year paying for access to these. And so you have hundreds of different databases, and how can you search all of them all at once? Well, the solution is something that's called discovery layers. A discovery layer is a tool that searches all of that content all at once. And a company that I founded was the first company to provide discovery layers to the market with a product that we called Summon. And it is very commonly used in lots of academic libraries across the country. There are so there's kind of like three major discovery layers. We're going to combine two of them, Summon and Primo, because they are now offered by the same company. There's Summon and Primo, and then there's another one that's called EDS. Summon and Primo come from a company called ProQuest. And EDS comes from a company called EBSCO. Now, because you have to have a license to put all that content into your discovery layer, right? You can't just go steal all this content from the American Chemical Society and I don't know, MLA bibliography and all this. You have to have, because unlike with Google, we are dealing with subscription-based products here. So you have to do the contract, you have to do licensing, and they've done a great job of doing all of this. But when it comes down to is that ProQuest won't let EBSCO put full text content from ProQuest in the EBSCO product, and EBSCO won't let ProQuest put ProQuest content in the EBSCO product. So if you know that, then you know, like, okay, well, and if you also know that ProQuest provides a better resource for historical newspapers, you should think, oh, then I want to use a discovery layer at a library that uses one of those ProQuest products, Summon or Primo. But then you say, well, wait a minute, Peter, you're talking about all this stuff, and all this stuff is all behind paywalls, and it's all subscription-based. And that's true, except that it's actually not. Now, there's a whole lot of different ways to go, but let me just tell you the easiest way, the fastest way, the most effective way to go. That is to go to the Yale University Library at library.yale.edu. It is obviously one of the 4 or 5 largest libraries in the United States, you know, among them with Harvard Library of Congress, New York Public, I don't know, maybe a couple of others, but it's the biggest one that has the ProQuest discovery layer behind it, and also allows the most access for people to do searches. I have absolutely no connection with Yale Library or Yale University at all. I have been to the campus a couple of times, and I have some friends who work there, but I don't have any way of logging in at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that search I did before, which was what? Schooner Argus. I'll just put the 2 words in here, and I'm going to see what I find. Now, it is searching millions and millions of resources here, and it's going to bring back this information, and it's not going to ask me to log in, at least not yet, not for a while. Well, this is neat. The Quest of the Schooner Argus by Alan Villiers. Well, that would be, again, another name that I know that you may not, which is that's because I'm the maritime person here. But I didn't know about that. So that's a book. Here's some journal articles. But if I go down here, we can add in newspaper articles. I find it very I'm a little bit surprised by this. I don't know why it wouldn't return any results here. This is all going to be a journal named Argus. Well, I'll try Steamer. So either their interface has changed, or I'm missing something. And if so, I apologize. This has worked, certainly worked recently. And I'm looking at Schooner and Argus for all result format. Oops. Yeah, okay, so something has changed here. I'm very sorry. All results articles. I'm not sure what to say here. So, okay, so the way that I would go about this now, I'm confused by this. So I'm going to choose, what I'm going to go to do now is update my oops, discovery index. So what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do, and maybe I'll pause here and give up a little bit, but librarytechnology.org is a site that can tell you what libraries are using which systems. My goal was to find out which another large library that uses Summon. Um, that was my goal there because this has worked fine for me on a regular basis. Well, let's see what ECU has. So we go to their libraries because you'll find this. So you'll find this, see one search here. Now, certainly East Carolina University doesn't have as many resources as Yale University does. But look, they're letting us find a lot more. So this is a more, so here, look, found at sea. Shortly after the loss of the steamer Argus on the Mull of Kantare, it became my duty to cross the channel. So what is this? I want to learn more about this. Now I've got, and I missed the 85 newspaper articles. So there's a lot more that I'd like to find in here. You'll have to search through them and you'll say, let's just say that this seemed of interest. I can't actually get to this article here because I don't have an ECU login or anything like that. But I can email this citation to myself, and I then know that I want to find the New York Herald, July 25th, 1848 on page 4. And I can probably even go back to Chronicling America to find a digitized version of New York Herald at that point. Or you can go into an academic library and look in their A to Z journal list. They've all got those as well. That will tell you which database has got the New York Herald in it. There's no guarantee that they'll have it, but I would think you would find it in, I would say start with Chronicling America, because of course then you don't have to leave home either. These discovery layers they're a hidden, incredibly valuable resource for searching huge amounts of content. Now I got stumped there by the Yale one. I don't know what happened there because I've used it before and I found it really valuable and very effective. I would have to go in and when we send this out, we won't send this out for a day or two while I figure out a better suggestion and I update the thing because obviously the Yale link didn't work. So we'll try to do that and do a better job there. But I've covered a lot of stuff. I've covered it really quickly. There's a ton more that I would love to talk about. And one thing I did want to do was have some time for conversation. And I've got a fair bit of time. We can talk more after our 60 minutes or whatever are up. People are welcome to stay for as long as they'd like. So I am going to stop right there. I hope that you found some of this useful and interesting. I want to make sure that we've got everybody's contact info, everybody who would like to receive the newsletter. We've got a list, so we'll share it with everybody.